Good day. I'm Menachem Avichayel. This is Trust in Hashem. Today, April 24th, in the year 2026 by the Gregorian calendar, the 7th of Iyar, in the year 5786 by the Torah calendar. Today we are going to be covering, in the third book, the 6th and 7th Parsha, Parsha Acharei Mot and Kedoshim. We start with Parsha Acharei Mot. Parsha Acharei Mot continues with Aaron's duties in the Mishkan. In chapter 16, verse 21, it says, Aaron shall make a confession. Here we have a moment in time that will change all of history from now on. From that moment, throughout all of history, history is going to change from what it was before. The purpose of these sacrifices that Aaron is going to be doing is the purpose of confession, tshuva. Tshuva is something that's actually tied back to Pharaoh even. If you remember correctly, when Pharaoh was, each one of the plagues that came upon Egypt, Pharaoh actually said that, oh yeah, you're right, go ahead, you can go. And then he reneged on his words. He reneged on his confession. Went back on his confession. That's not tshuva. Hashem doesn't forgive you. That's why, after the 5th time that he did that, Hashem just said, I don't care what you do, I'm not going to accept your tshuva anymore. So the Torah says that Hashem took away Pharaoh's free will. Well, he doesn't actually take away his free will. Hashem never takes away a person's free will. But what he does do is he doesn't accept your tshuva. And in essence, because that would make Pharaoh mad, that who do you think you are? I'm God, Pharaoh's saying. You have to obey me. And God's saying, no, I don't. I don't have to accept your tshuva. So in essence, Hashem caused him to lose his free will. That's what happens. You can't go against Hashem. Hashem is the Ribono Shel Olam, the master of the universe, the master of all creation. Okay? This is the reason for the entire Torah. This is the reason today, in today's world, why the haters don't want the third temple rebuilt. They don't want Hashem brought into the world. The moment Hashem is brought into the world, now, well, you can't steal, you can't lie, you can't kill other people. The Torah says the land of Israel belongs to Am Yisrael, to the nation of Israel. In fact, the Quran says that the land of Israel belongs to Am Yisrael, the nation of Israel. So anybody that really goes against that and says that the land of Israel doesn't belong to Am Yisrael, the nation of Israel, is really going against God, going against Hashem's word. Now you might think that this is only like radical Muslims that think this way. It actually is not only them. There also is a big group amongst all the other people, even within Judaism, there's a whole group of people that don't want the temple built. You see these people going around saying, oh no, you have to wait for the Mashiach to come, and the Mashiach will build the temple. Like, really? Hashem's way is that you open the door a crack, just one little crack, and he'll finish opening up the rest of the way. Our job is not necessarily to finish building the temple. Our job is only to try to start it. The moment we try to start building it, Hashem will see to it that it gets finished. All the people that say that kind of nonsense, that you have to wait for the Mashiach to come, they are haters of Hashem. They have joined the 10 spies that have given ways about, oh, we can't follow the Torah, and this is why. Generally, it's because, well, if the Torah comes, that means the big income I'm getting is going to stop. Because the way we have it set up right now, I'm getting big income because we don't have the temple, we don't have the Sanhedrin. And that'll all stop. Oh, I don't want that to happen. So I made up this thing about the Mashiach, and that's when the temple will come. As they say on the street corners, baloney, nonsense. So we continue on to chapter 17, verse 10. Now this is actually very interesting because this is an important point to the spiritual side of human beings. A man who will eat the blood, I will cut him off from his people. Now this actually goes back to the creation on the sixth day of the animals and Adam. You might say, well, how in the world does that go back to the sixth day of creation? What does not eating blood have to do with Adam? He didn't eat blood. That's true. Let's take a look at the situation though. When the flood took place, after the flood, Noah was given permission to eat meat at that time. Before then, nobody could eat flesh. Okay? Nobody was allowed to. But starting with Noah and his family, which meant all civilization, had permission, to eat meat or eat flesh, whether it be birds or fish or animals. Okay? Now that the Torah is given, Hashem is telling the Hebrew people, Am Yisrael, the nation of Israel, wait a minute, your spiritual level must be on a higher level. Like Hashem says, I am holy, therefore thou shalt be holy. And part of being holy is not taking blood in. So let's take a look at this idea of eating animals. Well, the animals that the Jewish people are allowed to eat, they're pretty much all the mammals, they're all vegetarians. They don't kill other animals and eat their blood. The ones that were forbidden to eat, they all kill other animals. They do eat their blood. You are what you eat. Same with birds. Birds that are attack birds that kill other animals and eat them. Same with fish, like sharks. We're not allowed to eat them. They don't have scales and fins. Not allowed to eat the fish that are on the bottom because they eat, all the matter that's down there, dead matter mostly, right? You are what you eat. If you eat dead matter, you're a dead person. Wow. So there's actually a lot more to this than might strike the eye. It's a spiritual thing, so it's hard to understand because you actually don't see it. And you actually won't even know really about it until after you pass on and you go to Olam Haba, the world to come, and the resurrection of the dead takes place, and then you'll find out what the real reasons are behind it. I'm trying to give you a little background as to a little part of what the reason is for the Torah saying what it's saying. So now we move on to chapter 18, verse 22. Now this is a very striking line in today's world. And the Torah says, do not lie with a male as you would with a female. It's homosexuality. The Torah is saying, don't do that. And then in verse 29 of chapter 18, it says, anyone who does any of these abhorred acts, the person who does this shall be cut off from his people. Now, what exactly does it mean, cut off by his people? Generally, the great Hebrew sages says that it's karei, meaning you don't get a share in the world to come. You won't go to Olam Haba, you won't, you might be part of the resurrection of the dead, but as the custom goes, that once everybody, good and bad, are going to be resurrected as the dead, but then all the evil people that stood against Hashem are going to be wiped out. And I mean wiped out from the beginning of time, like they never existed. Pretty harsh punishment. But we go down to Kedoshim, and in Kedoshim, I'm going to skip the first part of Kedoshim, and I'm going to go down to where Kedoshim ties in to this idea of homosexuality. And we go to verse 20, line 13. A man who lies with a male as one lies with a female, Both of them must be put to death. That's the penalty. And when they say death here, they don't just mean in this world. They're talking about this world and the world to come. It's a pretty harsh punishment. However, it's Hashem's rules. He's saying, no, that's not how I made you. That's not what you're supposed to use your gift that you were given your body for. It's not just there just for your pleasure. It's there for reproducing, as it says in Genesis. Reproduce. Okay. And then we have chapter 19, verse 4. And we start going into the do nots. It starts out with do not go after idols. And then it starts with verse 11. We got a whole list of do nots. Do not steal. Do not be deceitful. Do not lie. Do not swear falsely. Do not defraud. Do not rob. Do not pay your workers late. Got to pay them on time. Do not curse people. Do not speak slander. Do not hate. Do not take revenge. Do not even mix seeds when you plant them. Wow. That's a big list. But Hashem says, I am holy, therefore thou shalt be holy. He expects us. This is where the world's moral and ethical stance comes from. The Constitution of the United States of America and the Bill of Rights, as the founding fathers of America said, can only be carried out by people that are believers in God. Because it's only when you have this belief that there is a God and Hashem is the one that lays out these rights and wrongs that mankind must live by, and they come from the Torah. I just read you a big list of it. And there are other parts of the Torah, a lot of other ones are given. In closing, we go to chapter 20, verse 24 and 26. This is one of the most important parts of the Torah, a part that Israel, Am Yisrael, the nation of Israel, is struggling with the hardest today, in my opinion. And it says that you should separate apart from the other people. Sorry, that sounds like, kind of cold, like you're not going to mix with other people at all, right? Well, the Torah's not saying don't do business with them. You can do business with them. You can trade with them. What you can't do is you're not supposed to have the same names, the same language. You're not supposed to even dress like them. Well, as everybody might know, I made Aliyah from America. I moved from America. I'm now also an Israeli citizen besides being an American citizen. And I've traveled all over Israel. And Israelis dress really like any other Westerner. There is no real dress for an Israeli. There really isn't. Even if you're religious, they go around and say, oh, no, I'm dressed like a Jew. See, I'm all in black. That makes me religious, And I go, no. The reason you're dressed in black is because in the 1770s approximately, Poland was the first country. They made a law, as far as I know, they were the first country. They made a law that Jews had to wear only black, because black is the color of no spirituality. And then pretty much all of Europe adopted the same law. So really wearing black is nothing but saying that you are still a slave to European slave masters. This is actually a dark gray, very dark gray. It's not black. I do wear black pants though too. Anyway, it's not that wearing black is so bad. It's the idea behind it. If you think that just wearing a certain color makes you a religious person, that in a way is idol worship. I'm Menachem Abichael for trust in Hashem. May Hashem help us to remake the Sanhedrin, to rebuild the third temple, and to bring all of Kal Yisrael back to Eretz Yisrael. Thank you. Have a good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.